Hello, my little pistachios. I called you that last time. I'm just going to roll with it. Welcome back to Chronically Joyful. I'm a little weird today, only for the fact that there's a lot happening today on the good side of things. It's my nephew's birthday and he's wearing a little construction outfit and he looks so cute. And I called my family over in New Zealand where my parents are visiting too, so I got to say hello and it was the sweetest moment. And then amongst that, just the heaviness from last week has followed me into this week, and I'm processing. So if I'm a little weird and a little hoarse in the voice, that is why. But welcome back. Thanks for sitting at my kitchen table with me. I got a fancy curtain in an attempt to make this space a little bit brighter and more exciting to look at, even though now you can't really see my lovely picture behind me. We'll keep it consistent. This has been the angle. But ironically enough, the topic today feels appropriate and pretty close to home, where I'm planning to casually have a chat with you all about what I at least have done. I'm not going to tell you what to do by any means, ever. I'm just going to talk about my experience and then hopefully open a conversation, just because this channel has been such a gift. Yes, I still have my 15 subscribers, but like folks on Instagram who don't have YouTube are like, we can still watch it and we want to talk about these things, and it's been really lovely. But the topic at hand today is just how I approach moments where I feel less than. And that topic actually feels pretty appropriate today. I'm feeling a little bit less than for a couple of different reasons. So I'm very excited to get into this a little bit and bring the mood back up and bring levity to all of the things. So I appreciate you being here. Let's dive in. I had to stand up because I'm feeling some type of way, but also just FaceTimed with my family, and they're having the cutest little construction themed birthday party for my nephew, and it just inspired me. And in the name of authenticity, I'm also just all of the YouTube channels that I really like, everybody has a cute little catchphrase thing. So like my manifestation addiction, all of them are drinking hot bevies, and I'm always just like, yeah, I want more coffee now. Or yes, I am addicted to watching very specific YouTube streamers talk about Legend of Zelda lore. And I'm not ashamed of that. I think it's Hyrule Gamer that says, be sure to grab yourself a snack or drink and let's jump in. So I grabbed a beverage, which the irony is not lost on me here. I know that I just posted about this where it's like, I don't really drink anymore because it hurts me, and it does, but I'm just going to have one in the name of my gorgeous nephew's birthday, and just, I guess, cheersing to whatever's next. I've actually never had this one either. It's the Breakaway Blonde from Sam Adams, so let's sample it. That's actually lovely. Okay. I'm turning into a Sam's girl. I don't know. I digress. We should probably talk about the thing we're here to talk about. Moments of when you're feeling less than. In my experience, there's been a lot of different reasons for it. The biggest, of course, being MS. And if you can hear Puddles chasing her own tail right now, I chose a bad time to start this recording again. But this is real, you know? But I've had many moments in my life where I have been made to feel less than because of my illness. And I wanted to talk about this today simply for the fact that you should never feel less than because of something that you can't control. And you should never feel less than because of things that you can control either. You are an autonomous human being on this planet Earth, and you're allowed to make decisions and mistakes and figure it out as you go. And if folks are shaming you and telling you you're less than because of these things, they can eat it. Go kick rocks, humanity. But when it comes to MS specifically, over the years, and I'm thinking all the way back to before I moved, I'm saying like over a decade ago, over small things where I had a tumultuous relationship with a colleague and had asked them to help me open a water bottle because my hands were all jacked up, and they made me feel so small because we were having a tumultuous relationship, as I said, but then at the same time, it just like, it turned into a conversation of just like, you're pathetic. And I wasn't doing it for attention either. And it's just, that stuck in my mind because I was like, oh my God, other people are experiencing this all the time. Like, no one should ever be made to feel like that, especially when they're asking for help and coming to you as a person, just like, hey, I trust you. Can you help me with this? And then that is the reaction. Learned a hard lesson that day. When I was first diagnosed, I remember sitting in my room, and at this time, I want to say I was off campus. Sorry, it's hard to remember at this stage just because I lived a life in college. Shout out SUNY Potsdam. It was so fun. I had so much fun. And I feel blessed just because I still have the best friends in the world that I made there and had the opportunity to do music and all of these other things. I'm on a tangent again. I digress. Let's come back. I remember sitting on the floor of my, I guess I'll call it an apartment, bedroom floor right after my diagnosis. So like, I'm all jacked up. I can't use the left side of my body. I'm still processing this information. And it was the first time I had less than ideal thoughts. I can't say the word. Everyone that I watch on this platform, I'm not monetized. I have 15 subscribers, but I still am like scared of getting canceled. But I had dark thoughts. That's what I'm going to call them. And was thinking about ways that I could go through with it. And that was the first time where I was just like, my life is doomed. I was 20 years old. My life is doomed. Why even bother trying? And I'm here now 11 and a half years later and so grateful that I got out of that mindset. Oh, and believe me, just like anything else, that path wasn't linear by any means whatsoever. It still isn't. Like, even now, after all of the growth work that I am intentionally doing over the last 2 years, that I see a tremendous difference in how I approach things, the way that I communicate, the person that I am. Thank God. But it's this. It's a little slithery snake cruising along, trying to make its way, just like the rest of us. And it's why you should never feel less than because of something like this, even though it's big. I am not saying it's not big. And I'm not saying that you're going to have those moments. Of course you're going to have those moments. I had one last weekend where I think I had mentioned this in my prior video. Forgive me if I did. If I didn't, let's tell this story where I think I did tell this story because I was talking about how I imbibed last weekend too. And the irony isn't lost on me. Don't call me out in the comments. But just someone really close to me making a joke about how I'm broken and how not funny that is at all. And how much of a blanket statement, that is. And how it did make me feel less than. And when I actually think about that moment, I still feel a little bit less than. Or it's like, if this person who knows me better than pretty much anybody says that, they got to feel it to be true at least a little bit, you know? And it's like those thoughts that just start compiling and accumulating in your head that just make you go crazy. So don't do that. But just those moments where either external forces, which I've done a lot of work, and I'm not perfect by any means. Of course, external factors in my life still affect me. I'm human. I'm trying my hardest every single day to not let them. And just like, again, the garden of my mind, if you've read my blog before, and just maintaining that state. And I do very often now. But at the same time, like, no one is perfect. You're a human. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to falter. It's okay to come down here You just need to intentionally come back up. So, moments where I am feeling less than, let us ponder over how we are supposed to overcome those. Okay. In the moments where like I am horribly down, where like I am trying to climb out of the well back into the sunlight, and it is so impossibly difficult, where it's just like, how am I supposed to do this efficiently, not using like vices? I'm trying really hard. I meditate now instead. It's a wild transition from the person I was to who I'm becoming now, and it's a fun journey. I like it. But number one thing that I recommend that has helped me tremendously, and I used to laugh at this and like not take it seriously, go outside. Today is a Friday and I worked until 5:30 p.m. because this week was what nightmares are made from. This was a really rough week, especially for my brain, where like I had people coming at me expecting me to be able to consume information and conceptualize it like that and then give answers, where I'm quick. I take pride in being from New York for that reason. I'm not that quick. It got to a point where like there was disrespect coming my way, and after all of it was said and done, I took a literal knee on my walking pad that currently is covered in used incense. I have to fix that now that I'm saying it out loud. But I took a knee and was just like, yeah. And I had that moment of being like, am I really actually good at my job, or am I just faking it? The answer to that is yes. I've been doing the same job for 6 years. I think I'm pretty decent at it. Obviously, always room for growth. No one's perfect, and I'm very junior in where I am right now. So it's just like, I want to be a sponge and learn from the best, like my amazing manager, and just like be better. That's always my goal in every arena of my life, I guess. It's just I want to be better. But even then I felt less than, where I was like, is this because the information coming at me really is this complicated, or is it because I have MS? And I have that thought all the time, but you know what the answer 97% of the time is? It's that complicated, and anybody on the planet would struggle to figure it out. I personally don't like blaming MS for anything. And I guess that comes from being in a place where my symptoms are pretty well managed. So I'm blessed to not think about it that much, except for when I'm doing things like this, where I'm trying to like boost people's morale and like connect folks through community with chronic illness, because I think it's important work. But I'm not the type of person that's going to be like really horrific to someone because of mood swings and then turn around and be like, sorry, it's because that's a symptom of MS, which it is. But I've suffered from really vicious, aggressive mood swings most of this MS journey, and in the last 2 years, I have not. And that is intentional. Just like saying I'm not heat intolerant anymore, it is intentional. I refuse to identify myself by being like, well, I'm just moody, so deal with it. No, I'm accountable for how horrible I can be to people sometimes. And thankfully, I think that is happening maybe 5% of the time. I'm like, somebody call me out if that's not accurate. But I'm very accountable with these things just because I'm a person. And just because I have MS doesn't make me immune to kind of being a turd sometimes. I also make bad decisions. I make mistakes. I own them. And I try to be better and learn from them. And if I have a crazy, wild mood swing, which thank God I haven't experienced in a while, because when I get like that, that's when I get the most symptomatic, because my emotions are here. And it's so hard to just like come back to equilibrium and like process information like a normal person. But if I'm doing that to someone, or if I'm spiraling, I'm accountable for that. It's my action that I'm doing. Sure, Maybe there's some crazy cognitive thing going on in my neurological brain. Demyelination, maybe it went through a pathway that was broken and it made me short circuit a little bit. That does happen sometimes, especially with my vision. However, I still chose in that moment to act on it outwardly, as opposed to just being like, and like taking it back for 5 seconds. I'm not saying like silence yourself. I'm saying for 5 seconds, just and process from there. Puddles is here for it. She's playing with her stuffed avocado, which I thought she got rid of the squeaker, but oh my God, my floor is now full of stuffing. It's a celebration. But it's one of those things where it's just like, even in the moments where I would have those crazy mood swings and I would lash out, especially at my partner, just be like, ah! It was never like I came back in. I did always apologize, but it never felt as authentic as it does today, these days, where it was just always like I had an excuse. And it was like, I have this disease. You need to respect that. Absolutely not. No. My actions are on me. I am accountable for those. And it is insane to expect someone else to just be like, okay, yeah, you screaming at me over the light switch is totally fine. You have MS. No, God, no. And anybody that keeps using that as an excuse for my behavior specifically, you know who you are. I had to do a Puddles cam for this instance right here. There's the avocado. What do you make of all of this, darling? Exactly. Sorry, I'm clearly having fun with this setup. I think this is going to be our consistent setup. I do not have my microphone plugged in. I'm curious to see if there's a difference in the audio, but that thing really helped when I used my DSLR. But like, this is the easiest way to do this, and I'm able to kind of do cuts for the time being. I'm not trying to over edit these, but I am trying to make decent content that people want to watch. But in moments where I feel less than, step outside. That's where I was going with that earlier work story. The second that I took 5 seconds to let Puddles out and like step into the spring air, which it is windy today. It's like 70-mile-an-hour winds. And it snowed yesterday after being 90 degrees the day before. The weather is just as confused as my poor little heart right now. But the second I stepped outside in the 70-mile-an-hour winds, it picked up some random plant that doesn't exist in my backyard, and just there were flowers flying everywhere. And I just stood there and I watched Puddles potty, and I just was like, everything's fine. Even the moments of stress at work, it's like I'm not a brain surgeon. I do digital messaging for my day job. So it's like, the work we do is important. I don't want to discredit that. I think I told somebody that today just because they were like, I don't know if this is important. It is, to a degree, for the betterment of the organization that I am employed at. And I like my job. It's very fun. And I love the humans that I work with. They have turned me into the person I am today, too. But that moment, so nice. And I went outside without a phone, no music. Like, I'm always listening to music all day. If you see me in the gym, you're like, oh, it's that psychopath wearing the dragon pants, like dancing around her dumbbells. I'm not ashamed. That's exactly what I am in the gym. And it's always me listening to like Slipknot. And recently, Lamb of God's been coming on. My sister would be so proud of me. I really like them. Who knew? But that actually is a perfect segue into the next, I guess, tips and tricks for when you're feeling less than. Come to my TED Talk. Where music, for me, and I know this doesn't go for everyone, but the second a song comes on that I really love, instant mood boost. Instant. It's like I could be having the worst day. I could feel really less than. Like I could have people treating me like scum of the earth on the bottom of their sneaker. And I will hear a song I really love come on and I'm just immediately like, you can physically see me just brighten into the happy little goober that I usually am. And it's that. And the reason that I'm like this now, like this now is that I was telling my sister on Tuesday. What day is it? Oh my God. When was she here? Wednesday? It was a weekday and we were out inappropriately late. Just that's what's important here. I was telling her that I'm like this even in the midst of chaos just because like my daily goal, I just chase joy. Even if I know it's going to be a really hard day, I chase joy throughout the entire day just to like bring it back up, bring it back. And I feel like that might actually be a key to a long, happy, healthy life. Where, of course, there's so much happening in the world right now. It is heavy. We're all feeling it. It is crazy. However, yes, acknowledge that. Unless you are one of the few souls on this planet who's like a really aggressive activist, like the Greta Thunbergs of the world, live that. You were made to actually like process that information and use it and alchemize it for something better. I'm not that person. I'm an old gentle soul. So it's like I learn of these things and it just brings me real down. And then I've got to intentionally seek out experiences, people, music, media, just like art, things that I really love to bring it back to equilibrium because I would rather live my life as a really happy person who makes other people happy too than someone who's paranoid of the world, aggressively realistic, and shames other humans for being like, you are not that well read into the horrors of the world. I've been told that a lot in my life, and I'm at the point now where I'm like, good. I'm informed enough, and I take pride in that. So go outside, put on music that you really love. I was going to say eat something yummy, but that's questionable because I've learned about myself over the last year that I'm really addicted to chocolate covered cashews. Bad, like really bad. My mom's also making this habit worse because every time she goes to Wegmans, she's like, I got these for you. And I'm like, I'm activated. And I'm like really addicted to them. And then I was hanging out with somebody who's allergic to cashews and I was like, okay, pivot. And then I got really addicted to peanut M&Ms. Chocolate covered nuts, I guess, is my thing. So it's like, love the texture of chocolate covered M&Ms, love chocolate covered cashews just in general, but they're like so small and pop in your mouth that I eat an uncanny amount of these things and it feels good in the moment and then I feel awful after. So take that advice with a grain of salt. I recommend, I don't want to say healthy snacks, but like I'm really addicted to Cosmic Crisp apples right now too. That's been a saving grace. And then I've started soft boiling eggs again. So it's like if I'm stressed, because I've noticed like when I get really stressed, I stop eating completely. Like I didn't have lunch yesterday until 4:30, which ended up being dinner. But like I will snack. So it's like I need to be intellectually rigorous, I guess, in maintaining what I'm popping in my mouth. So soft-boiled eggs is a good alternative because you eat one of those and like maybe a handful of mixed nuts, not chocolate-covered ones because I can't stop when I eat those. And like a glass of water and you're good. And it's just like, okay, I'm good. Good segue again. Hydrate. I've noticed too that like I'm really, when I start feeling overwhelmed, particularly like in my workday where it's just like, because usually I'll stop and I'll take a deep breath and it'll help recirculate my nervous system and help me get back to equilibrium. And sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes I'm standing at my desk at work and I'm just like spiraling mentally in my head. You can't see it on my face though. Like we talked about last time, I'm really good at masking and I'm trying to get better at not being good at masking, I guess. But sometimes it doesn't work. But what I have found really helps is drinking a lot of water. And I don't mean that in a sense of like drink a lot of water during the day. It's like, no, I will take 3 unnecessarily long drags of water out of my water bottle and drink like a dumb amount in one go, like 24 ounces, and then just be like, I feel better. I feel clearer. But honestly, I guess the main lesson at the end of all of this is whether someone else is making you feel less than, whether you are in your own head and also making yourself feel less than, I'm going to recommend chasing joy, because how I started this video, my energy is pretty heavy. Also not heavy. It's so confusing. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. But my plan after this is I'm going to cook a lovely meal because I love to cook. I am making healthy turkey ramen, which I know that like half the people watching this are probably like, oh. I love it. And I just bought more eggs, so I'm going to soft boil eggs to throw in that bad boy. I wish I had Naruto to throw in there, but I did not want to go to an extra store today. And someone almost killed me on my way back from Kroger, where they literally just didn't look. And I was doing 60 miles an hour. I was just like, I'm going to die. And I just started laughing. I laid on the horn for the first time, like ever. I never use my horn unless somebody doesn't see me. It didn't matter. They just kept going, and I had nowhere to go. So I just started laughing, and I was like, if this is how I go, that'd be so dumb. I'd be so mad. The song that was playing, though, it's a song that my dad and I really love. So I was like, at least I had that going for me. But yes, I am making turkey ramen, and I'm so excited about it. And then after that, I signed up to do a project at work that is like way over my head in expertise here, but I'm going to start painting and put on jammy pants and some slippers and play music and just like do me. Just be by myself to process and figure out how I feel and journal. I'm doing a lot of journaling lately. Not standard journaling. It's not me being like, dear diary. I hated that kind of journaling. Like, no, I'm drawing shapes and like writing around them and like interpreting these things, and currently working on my self-concept, which is going really well. It's bringing really nice things into my life right now. My relationships with friends, family, colleagues, everything like is really, really healthy right now. And the energy is really, really good. So it's just like something's working from the things that I'm learning. But all of that to say, you're allowed to feel less than sometimes. It's okay to come down here. Just be really intentional on bringing it back up. It is really important to bring it back up, because this version of you, it's not really who you are. It isn't. That's not who you are. Bring it back up. And I'm not saying you're going to do one of these and be like, woo, I'm ready to do this life. You're going to do one of these. And then come back up and then go back down. And that is the ebb and flow of being a human on planet Earth. There's nothing wrong with that. So I know this is a day late. Work's been killing me. And by the time I was done with things yesterday, it was like 10:30 p.m. And I was like, I'm not doing this. This takes time and effort for me. And I want to be present when I'm doing it, not just like, I gotta get the thing out. Like, it's just not who I am. But I hope that you got at least a little bit of value from this. If anything, if you're like, I never feel less than, this is crazy. You got amusement out of Puddles Cam and me being a bobo of a human. But as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for sitting at this very messy art table, enjoying a beverage of choice with me, and being a part of this community, because you matter and your presence here matters too. So the light in me recognizes the light in you. I love you. I love you all so much. I will share whatever art I create at this table. Have the loveliest of lovely. I'm going to post this Saturday morning. So have a great Saturday. Do the things. Bye.